Well, hello and welcome to video number 6 in my little Halloween scrapbook mini-series, and this is the last video in the series. So if you have watched all the videos, then congratulations, you may have a prize that you buy for yourself. And if you're new, then if you're interested, all the other videos in the mini-series will be linked and in playlists and in cards, and you know the drill. So let's get on with what we are doing, shall we? So as you saw just then, I just freehand drew a pumpkin, because this is a pumpkin themed layout, and I just looked at images on Google Images and just kind of, as I said, freehand drew it. I could have printed it and traced it, but I couldn't be bothered. And then I went over it with my Tim Holtz pokey tool thing to make holes, because I am going to paper stitch the whole pumpkin. So I'm using black embroidery silk to do this. And if you are new to paper stitching, you've never done it before, basically you just stitch on paper. Embroidery silk is the best thing to do it with, just because it's nice and thick and it looks good and stuff. I always split it though from 6 strands into 3, because 6 strands is a little bit thick, isn't it? And if you're completely new, I do have a blog post on how to do it, so I will link that if you're interested. The one thing really to keep in mind when doing paper stitching is to do a back stitch, because I've seen people do a normal just up down stitch and is fine, but a back stitch looks 100 times better. So yes, there's that. So yep, that's what I did. It did take me a while, but I just put some Netflix on, and you know, time flies when you're having fun paper stitching. So as if by magic, boom, it's done. So then I went in with some watercolors to color the pumpkin with the packaging technique. Now I will say, if I had done this with white embroidery silk, or basically any other color than black, I would have done the coloring first and then stitched over it when it was dry, because obviously if you did this over, say, white thread, then the thread would get colour. But because it's black thread, it wouldn't, and it was just, you know, I knew where everything was and it was fine. So that was my thought process on that one. But just FYI, if you're going to do something like this and use white thread, do the painty bit first. So yes, just going over with orange watercolour, and then I've got some mica powder cosmic shimmer in, I think it's called burnt marigold, something along those lines, as well as some Heidi Swap Colour Shine in gold to make it pretty and sparkly. So we've got sparkly orange, sparkly gold, and normal orange. And I also sprayed, so the entire pumpkin area had a light spray of water on there, just so it would be watercolour friendly. And I didn't fill up all the pumpkin. I wanted it to look a bit messy, so there's bits coming out the side. And while that was drying, I also did some, just like a smush along the bottom with the cosmic shimmer stuff, just for an added thing of colour, because otherwise it was a bit white. And yes, there we go. So as ever, I am using the pink Paisley Spellcast range. I just love it so much. Some of you may not like how much of the pumpkin I cover up, but for me, I just think it's the nature of scrapbooking. You know, you do mixed media and stuff, and it does get covered up. That's just the way it works. But yes, I wanted to use a whole bunch of Spellcast stuff, because not only is it about the photos and stuff, but it was kind of like a memory of using the Spellcast range, I suppose. That might sound super lame, I know, but I do like the Spellcast range an awful lot. So there's like the cutter part with the witch on, there's a little label, there's bits from the ephemera pack, there's bits from stickers, stuff that I fussy cut, and I made sort of a little pumpkin patch down the bottom there, but also with other little bits in, like the witch's hat and stuff. And there's this little cat and pumpkin. And yes, so there's the photos there. You've probably seen the title, but it's called Pumpkat, because basically I carved my first ever pumpkin. Yeah, I know, right? Nearly 28 years old, and carved my first ever pumpkin this year. I think it's because it's only within the past few years that Halloween's become like a really big thing in the UK. So yes, that's probably why. And I carved like this kind of spooky cat face. You can't see, but there's cat ears carved into it as well. And as I was carving it, the whole time my cat was looking at me like, "Human, what are you doing?" But it was also like he was almost modelling for me. And then when I'd finished, he came and sat next to it, so I took a couple of pictures. If you follow me on Instagram, you may have seen that picture there, which is like quite close up of his face. And I just thought it was super cute that I carved a cat pumpkin and he was hanging out next to the pumpkin. So there we go. Pumpkat! So, as you saw, I added that Happy Halloween label, tag, thing, title there. And I'm just putting some washi down from the sticker book for something to go behind that pumpkin picture, and just sort of putting the pictures around the Happy Halloween as well. And I'm putting down the pictures just with one bit of double-sided tape just on one side, because I hadn't figured out yet if there was any ephemera pieces or whatever that was going to go behind the pictures. So that's why I did that, and then I stuck the rest of the picture down so slightly later on. Like you can see there, I'm putting that sort of floral cluster from the sticker sheets underneath them, and that made it possible because they were not stuck down all the way. So yes, I put down those orangey sticker flower struggling, yes, too many voiceovers recently. So those from the sticker sheet. There's an ephemera piece. I put that little candle down there as well, but next to the pumpkin, because I just thought that would work next to the pumpkin as it was glowing. I took the picture in the dark, obviously. And there's my title there using the spellcast stickers. We've got Pumpkat, and I put this down slightly earlier rather than at the very end, just because I knew where my title was going to be and what I needed to work around it and stuff. Found another pumpkin on the sticker sheet there, so I had to add that to my little pumpkin patch. And there's my beloved gold foil moths. If you've seen some of the other layouts, you'll know what I'm talking about here. They're fussy cut from the 6x6 paper pad, and I just love them so much. So they obviously had to make their way onto my last spellcast layout. Obviously I'll probably end up doing a couple next year, but I have used a lot of the collection by this point. So from the sticker sheet, I'm adding some of these little phrases. We've got jack-o'-lantern and carving out memories, lol, punny. And I add one more. Oh, I found another pumpkin as well, so I'm putting that down there next to the little cat. And, oh, that one says too cute to spook, because, you know, just perfect, because my cat is the cutest, obviously. And then, yes, putting down my little moths. I love my moths. I love them so much. I love my moths. The camera did cut out when I was putting these down, and I didn't notice. And it seems, and that happened before in an earlier layout. The camera doesn't like the moths, but I do. But I just stick them on with glue dots. That's all there is to it. Just having them in the pumpkin patch and kind of coming out from the pumpkin patch and stuff. And then flicking on some more Colour Shine in Gold. I thought this was going to be my last thing, but actually I changed my mind, and I was like, there's something missing from this layout. Something seriously wanting, and I'm not sure what it is. And I figured out it was the fact that the viney rooty bits of the pumpkin didn't have, they were just white and they looked a bit wrong, and I didn't want to make them orange because that would look a bit meh. So I just went in with some green watercolor. I didn't like paint the whole thing, and there's like a lighter green and a darker green. I put lots of water down on it as well, so it was all smooshy and just sort of matched the whole theme of the rest of the pumpkin not looking quite right. And, you know, it went outside of the lines a bit and it was fine. The water did smush a bit of the colour shine, but I covered that with a gold foil moth, which is the perfect ending to my little series talking about my moths. So there we go. That is the end of this layout and the end of my little Halloween series. So thank you so much for watching. And yes, happy Halloween! Bye bye!